Well, good morning, everyone. It's actually afternoon here. Good morning, everybody. Grace and peace to you from our Lord Jesus Christ and all the saints here in rainy California. Sorry about the poor lighting and poor video quality today. I'm using Zoom to record this, and I'm at home. It was actually a pretty busy week. I did not have any time to do a video at work, so I'm here at home recording one. And the lighting level it's pretty dark and cloudy outside in California, right? Who would have thought? We're actually finally getting some more rain. So I've turned the lights on here and we'll just have to make the best of it. Probably best you can't see me that well anyway. Pretty productive week this week. So I had a couple things I needed to get done. One was a Intermapper server upgrade. Intermapper is a product we use to document and monitor our network. It's a great product. I've been using it for years and years. So what I had the server admins do is they created me a new server. It's a 2022 server, and you basically just shut down the service on the old server, copy the settings folder over to the new server, and then do a clean install on the new server of Intermapper, point it to the profile, the settings folder, and you're done. That's all you got to do. And the only problem I had was we have it set up to send out emails if the device goes down. It wasn't sending emails out. And I checked the firewall. It was getting through, it was communicating, it was connecting to Microsoft O365. But the emails weren't arriving. So, and the Office 365 admin said, we're not getting any email. So I contacted Help Systems, who makes Intermapper, and they said, oh yeah, there's a bug. So never do the .0 version of any product. This was 6.60. Never do the .0 version. Always wait till .1. So I got a beta release from them that should fix it, and it did. So I installed that over the old one, and we're getting emails again. So that was task number one this week, was get Intermapper fixed, the email situation fixed. Anyway, got that done. The second task, which is the big one, and the one I'm going to mostly talk about today, was a little background. We have a wireless network that we have these things called WOWs, workstations on wheels. And that's what they basically are. It's a cart with a battery in it. And the nurses and doctors roll these around from room to room, and they can, update charts, they can update patient data, whatever they need to do with these things. So they're just like a battery powered PC that rolls around on wheels. So the wireless network that they connect to is running out of IP addresses. It really shouldn't. We don't have that many WOWs, but it turns out the help desk, and I'm to blame too, because I've done this, have been adding just regular laptops like the one I'm recording on to that network. And we've now got so many devices on that Wi-Fi network that we're running out of IP addresses. So what we did is we decommissioned an older wireless network that's got far more IP space on it and repurposed it. And so the other one had, I think, room for about 500 IP addresses, and this one has room for 2,000. So plenty. Let me share some stuff. I'm trying to be careful about what I share because I don't want to reveal too much about my internal network, but I still want you guys to be able to understand what I'm doing. So let's share the screen. Right, that's Zoom. We don't care about that. So this is my wireless controller. We can monitor all the APs and the users that are connected to it. We can look at logs. We can look at reports of how many users are on what wireless networks at any one time. Yeah, we can search for them. We can blacklist them from here. We can do all kinds of stuff. And even so, this is still kind of outdated. This needs to be updated. That's another project. So what I did is I went to the one wireless network. We just decided to decommission it and rename it. So we renamed it SJGH WOW. SJGH is the name of the hospital I work at. We just renamed it basically, and I'm only testing on one AP right now. This is my AP in the IS department. So that's the only place we're really testing it right now. So it's not on any other AP at the moment. And when we are ready, I'm just going to put it out on all the APs and we'll roll it out. Actually, we are ready, but I'll get to that. So one thing I wanted this, I didn't want just anybody connecting to this. So one thing I did is I enabled suppression of the SSID, which basically means it's a hidden network. They're not going to be able to see it. Now, could a hacker find it? Sure, but we don't have too many hackers come in the hospital. If they do, they've got other issues. They're not worried about trying to hack into our network. So the wireless network is hidden, number one. And number two, it's WPA v2. But we're not doing pre-shared keys anymore because okay, we'll see where this goes. My laptop just died. So we'll see what Zoom does with this. Okay, back to what I was saying and back to sharing the screen. This may just end up being a practice video, who knows? Okay, so I was here telling you that we're not using a pre-shared key because those tend to get around. People tend to share those. So what we are going to do is say it here. It does not say it here, but it does. Well, it says it here. The authentication mode we're going to use is 802.1x. And this is the radio server we're going to use, the authentication server we're going to use. It's Extreme's NAC product, Network Admission Control, unless they've renamed it. They like to rename things. NetSite became XMC, and now it's XIC, and then it was XIC, now it's XIQ, maybe. So we're going to do 802.1x certificate-based authentication on these, meaning the only way that we're going to allow any device to connect is if it's got a certificate. Okay, well, how do we do that? Basically, what we had to do, yeah, I know it was lost. Let's see if we can get it back. There we go, it's back. So basically what we did is I had our server admins generate basically a certificate for the NAC. We had to go through a whole bunch of rigmarole to import it. Let me see if I got I should have the document for that somewhere. Hey, let's see if I can do this with minimal. It's not the way to get there. I'll see if I can get there this way. See if it shows up. Please stand by. There we go. So I document everything I do because, you know, by next week I'll forget it. One of the things we had to do was, like I said, generate a certificate for both of we have two NACs. They're basically they both work in conjunction with each other. So we basically had to generate a certificate request, which is, here's what we did to do that. A whole bunch of stuff, lots of commands. I am not a certificate guy. I was walked through this by our professional services guy. So once we had our CSR certificate signing request file, I sent that over to our Active Directory guy. He took that, generated a new certificate, sent it to me. Then we had to go through some more rigmarole because it didn't understand a .cer file, which is what the certificate was in. So we had to use these commands here to convert it to a .pem file. And that's what ultimately worked. And then, whoops, that's what we ultimately imported. So where you import that is right here in the NAC, the AAA config. You import the certificate right here. That's going to be the trusted root for our Active Directory domain. So we got that imported. That was pretty cool. The other thing we had to do was set up a rule. And we did that with this rule right here. We basically said if it's, this is the name of the rule. And if it's in this SSID, comes in over this wireless network, and it's trying to authenticate by this method, 802.1x, and this is implying that it means it's got a certificate, that everything is cool. Then we're going to say, okay, you are a user of our network. We'll let you in. You can go anywhere you want if you have the certificate. But how do you get the certificate on there? How do you ensure that the client has a certificate? Well, we're actually going to use group policy. Again, the server admins, God love them. They created a group policy that's going to do two things. Number one, it's going to push it's going to push every machine to request a certificate, and then it's going to push this wireless network config to every machine and say, make this your preferred wireless network. So that's going to basically, alleviate the help desk from having to go out and set anything up at all for the end users. It'll all be just pushed to them. And yeah, our new Active Directory team has a great track record of making this stuff work. So really love that. So, okay, we've created a rule and we've created a wireless network. And what do we do on the client side? Basically, we need a certificate. So, oh, wait, I think I have it in here. May take a minute because I'm connected via VPN, maybe. Yeah. There it is. There's the actual certificate that's tied to my machine. That's my actual host name and issued by. That's the certificate we just saw in the NAC, saying that that's the certificate signing authority. Two ways you can get that. You can either have the Active Directory guys write the GPO to make the computer request it, or you can do it manually by saying request new certificate. And then basically you just go through a little wizard saying, I want a new certificate. What kind of certificate do you want? And what we wanted was a computer certificate. And then you just click and roll. I'm not going to do that because I've already got the certificate, so I don't need to do that. But that's the steps we basically had to go through. And once you do that, the certificate shows up. Okay. And then it's just a matter of connecting to the network. Now, the thing is, let's see, that's how it's going to show up if you're doing it manually. It's just going to show up as a hidden network. And then you have to manually type in the name of the network and then tell it we're using smart card or other certificate. Here, let's just try it. I'll show you what I mean. So basically what we would do here is just say the name of the network. Next, it's probably, well, it might work because I'm connected. No, it won't work because we're not there. This won't work because I am not at work. And this is actually, there's another hidden network around here that's not 802.1x. So bad example. But what it would do is when you said to connect to that network, it would check your machine for that certificate. It would present that certificate to the NAC. And Still recording? Yeah, we're having a grand old time. So when I tried to connect to that wireless network, it kicked me out. So, that's real life. But that was the second big project. We got that working. We've tested it on one of the test wows. It worked great, and yeah, we're ready to roll it out. So as soon as we notify the users and notify the help desk, start rolling it out, and then I'll just start monitoring that network. I can't show you that. What I will do, oops, let me share my screen again. It's out of the way again. Sorry about all these glitches, guys. But what I would basically do to see if it's working is I'd come here to reports, clients by VNS, and go to this WOW and see if they start showing up. I think it's actually on the other wireless controller right now. So let me go there. The other wireless controller. Two wireless controllers. One's like a main controller, one's a standby controller. So let me stop the share for just a second. I don't want you to see my username. Hold on. Really want to see your username. Yeah, I know. All right. Back to the meeting and share again. Share and share alike. Okay, so we're back here to this machine. Let me do it again. Clients by VN. Oops, no, not by AP. VNS. And we should have one of the wilds out there, and there it is. It shows up. And I can also see that on the NAC to see if it's showing up. And you'll see that it doesn't show up as it's signed on as a user. It shows up that it's signed on as a host, which is what we want. Because we want this to connect whether anybody's signed in or not. That way we can push updates. We can, a lot of times with wireless, you have to have them sign in as wired first. If nobody's ever signed on to the machine, you have to plug it into Ethernet, let them sign on, and then they can create their wireless profile and all that. So at least that's the way the help desk was doing it. There's probably other ways out there that are really slick and easy to do, but I don't know them and I'm not on the help desk. So, but I am going to try to make this as easy as possible for them. So that was my big, that's what took most of the week, working on that. And then what else did we do? There was one other thing. We started laying the groundwork for multi-factor authentication for our remote client, global remote access client, what I'm using right now to connect to my workplace. Right now, it's just username and password. Nobody's ever hacked in yet. They tried to hack in. We just had a big security penetration testing done. They were able to call the help desk and get people to reset passwords without proper ID. And so they were able to get username and passwords, but they were not able to get into our Office 365 environment because we have multi-factor authentication enabled. So even though they knew the username and password, we send a text out when you try to log on and say, hey, enter this code in. And so when they enter the username and password and then the box pops up, says, hey, enter the code, they don't have the code, they can't get any farther. So we're going to be doing the same thing for Palo Alto. The only reason they didn't bust into that is because they didn't know it was there. So, which is awesome. Hey, they didn't ask, I didn't volunteer. So anyway, that's what we got going on right now. I'm going to finish up this wireless project next week, I believe, and then it's just going to be a monitoring and waiting for the clients to all just bounce over to the other wireless LAN. And then once they do that, I don't know if I'll decommission that one or not. I may talk to my boss about that. We still do need a pre-shared key wireless LAN for devices like televisions that are there and certain medical devices. So yeah, we'll see what happens. No new no new information on our firewall failover problem. Yeah. Oh, one other thing I did fix was we had a routing issue. So, well, we didn't. There's a new clinic being brought online in another city, and so we thought it would be easiest, since we know what their subnets are going to be. So I sent a certain subnet. We'll just call it 10.100, 10.100.0.0/16. I sent to their headquarters location, and that's been working fine. Except now this new site's been brought on. It's another city, and we're not going the same route to get there. We're going over a new county circuit, which isn't accessible from their headquarters. Their headquarters has to come through the hospital to get to the county. So we weren't able to get to that. So they were trying all kinds of different things. And I said, well, why don't I just say, let's get rid of the 10.100.0.0 and just say 10.100.1.0 is up at the headquarters, 2.0 is up at the headquarters, or just add the subnets. Like, no, that's too many statements. I said, okay, let's try route summarization. I'll just send 10.100.0.0/ I forget what it ended up being, 24, 25, 26, something like that. Anyway, it was, I can't remember. I'm not a good subnetter. I have to use the online IP subnet calculator. But it ended up being, we just sent like subnet 0 through 15 up to them. And then, so anything other than that would go to the default gateway, which is our firewall. Our firewall would send that to the county, and then the county would send that up to the new clinic in the other city. And that worked great, worked just fine. We had a couple other little issues. We had to add a couple other routes that fell under that 10.100 earlier, but weren't getting routed after that. So hope that makes sense to you. I can't show you that because I don't want to show you my internal IPs, but yeah, it was, I guess the lesson there is don't be too overly broad when you're sending routes to another, you're setting up a route. Just if you do static routing like we do, just make sure it's just the routes that need to go there. And if there's a bunch of routes in a row, you can summarize those routes by messing around with the subnet mask rather than having to put each one in discretely on a separate line. So that's the lesson there. And that was the other thing we fixed this week. We meaning me. So anyway, yeah, I guess that's all we did this week. So as always, thanks for watching. Hopefully I don't have to record this video again. I'm going to go back and watch it and see what all these stops did to the video. But if you like what you saw, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell. Keep those great comments coming. If you guys think you have better ideas than I do, I love to hear that. I don't think I'm the smartest guy in the world, so I know there's a lot smarter people out there than me. So I love new and innovative ideas. So I know some of you guys have been sending those out. Keep those coming. Love those. And as always, thanks for watching. God bless everybody. We'll see you next time. Where do you stop this crazy? There.